Hi, happy Monday, boys and girls. Welcome back. We are on Unit 5, Week 4 of Language Arts. And this week, our essential question is, what can you discover when you look closely at something? So this week, we're going to really be studying a lot of science. So what happens when scientists take a close look at things, when they really dive in and learn deeply about a topic? So I am outside right now, so there's a lot of outside noises, cars, neighbors playing music, um, but hopefully it's not too distracting. Anyway, so that's our essential question for today. So keep that in mind. And then I'm going to go over our new vocabulary words. So here we go. So our first word is cling. Cling. Now the sentence they give is, the frog is able to cling to the tree branch because of his long legs. Now remember, you can always pause the video, take some think time before you listen to the definition. So to cling is to stick closely. So a lot of times you hear about babies who cling to their moms. It just means that they're really attached to their mom. They want to be very close, right? Our next word is dissolves. Dissolves. The tablet dissolves quickly in water. This is considered a tablet right here, not like a computer. A tablet like of medicine or something like that. And it says to dissolve means to pass into a solution with a liquid. So some things that dissolve, for example, salt or sugar, when you put them into water and you mix them, they disappear. The flavor is there because it dissolves. So the sugar is technically still there. It's just no longer a solid, like sugar is a solid. It's no longer a solid. It becomes a liquid at that point. Sorry, there's a car. Oh, and the question, what does sugar look like when it dissolves? So think of other things that dissolve, like maybe Kool-Aid powder or um, salt, sugar, like I said. Even honey can dissolve, right? If you put honey into hot tea, well, it kind of melts away and becomes part of the liquid. Our next word is gritty. The sand on the bottom of his feet felt gritty. So think about what sand feels like at the bottom of your feet. And the definition is, something gritty contains very small bits of sand or stone. So like grainy kind of, like, again, like salt, or sugar. They're not really smooth. They're kind of bumpy. Sand isn't really smooth. It's more bumpy. Um, that's what gritty means. And then the next word is humid. I like the tropical feeling of the moist, humid air in the rainforest. So, humid. Humid means moist or full of water vapor. So, humid is a lot of times used to describe an environment. For example, California is not really humid, it's dry. Humid makes you feel like, kind of like if you go outside and you can feel like you're sweaty. You're probably not sweating. It's just that there's moisture or water in the air and it sticks to you. So California, we don't really feel that, but like in like Florida and southern places like Georgia, Louisiana, all those places are really humid. So they're really sticky. You get really sticky and like you feel wet because there's actual moisture or water in there. Next word is forever today. Sorry about that. Oh man. Okay, so our next word is magnify. You can magnify a leaf to see its details up close. So magnify means to make something look bigger than it really is. So like a leaf is pretty small, the lines on it, pretty small, but when you use a magnifying glass, it makes it look a lot bigger, right? Our next word is microscope. The scientists use a microscope to study the plant cells. A microscope is a device for looking at things that are too small to be seen with the naked eye. Now, not to be confused with a telescope. Telescopes are used to see the stars in the sky that are far away, yes, that are too small to see with just your regular eyes, but microscopes are used in like science labs or to see things here on Earth. Telescopes, stars and sky, microscopes here. Okay. Next word is mingle. The three penguins like to mingle and socialize on the beach. So mingle. To mingle is to mix or come together. People, not things. So mingle just means to come and you hang out and you chat, right? These penguins look like they're having a good time together. That's what it means, mingle. The next word is typical. Typical. Freezing temperatures in Alaska are normal and typical for part of the year. So typical means to show qualities or characteristics of a certain time. So for example, a certain type. Sorry. So for example, like if I ask you like, oh, what's a typical day in California on, in the month of April? So a typical day or a normal day would be like sunny, warm, maybe even hot, right? In April it was really hot. And that happens here in California. It's just typical. So typical means like normal. What normally happens, or what is normal for that situation, right? Like if I said what's a typical day at Disneyland, well, there's lots of people. The lines are really long. Most of the time you have to wait forever and you walk a lot. That's a typical day at Disneyland. A normal day there. That bird is so loud. And that's it. I think I got all the words. But yeah, so those are our vocabulary words for the day. The week, sorry. Make sure you study those words. We're gonna have a Kahoot this week, so you just keep practicing them and rewatching this video. Anyways, our story for today is called Your World Up Close. And remember, our essential question is, what can you discover when you look closely at something? So it's an expository text. Remember I taught you guys that expository means that it's going to explain something. And I always said expository, like the first three letters, EXP. Same as explain. That's how I remember. Anyways, we'll just get started. Does the picture on the left show a diamond or a glass prism? Look closer. Take a step back. You're too close. It is a picture of a sugar crystal. This extreme close-up was taken by an electron microscope, a tool that can magnify an item up to thousands of times its actual size. Pictures taken with a high-tech electron microscope are called photomicrographs. The sugar crystal on the left may look huge, but the word micro means small. We are seeing a small part of the sugar crystal up close. Photomicrography dates back to 1840 when a scientist named Alfred Dahn first photographed images through a microscope. Around 1852, a German pharmacist made the first version of a camera that took photomicrographs. In 1882, Wilson snowflake Bentley of Vermont became the very first person to use a camera with a built-in microscope to take pictures of snowflakes. His photographs showed that there is no such thing as a typical snowflake. Each is unique. Nowadays, we have electron micrographs. So the caption says, the photographs of snowflake Bentley showed that snowflakes are shaped like hexagons. So if you can see, each snowflake is different and unique, right? There's no typical snowflake. There's no normal snowflake. The light microscopes you use in school are weak and do not show much detail. An electron microscope is a much more powerful tool, and it allows scientists to see things we can't see with our own eye, such as skin cells or dust mites. The picture below is a close-up of human skin and shows the detail an electron microscope can capture. The more an image is magnified, the more detail you will see in the photograph. The most magnification that a photomicrograph can capture is about 2 million times the original image size. Magnified images have helped scientists to see what causes diseases. Over the years, scientists have learned how these diseases behave. Looking through microscopes, we have even learned what is inside a cell or how a snowflake dissolves into a drop of water. So the caption there says, "This is a human fingerprint magnified by an electron microscope." So the one on the left, it says times 1 million, but if you look even closer, times 2 million, that's the closest they can get. And it looks very different. Like if you look at your finger, it looks very different than what we see with what they call our naked eye. So your naked eye is just what your eye sees regularly, right? The colors, the shapes, everything your eye can see, but when you use a microscope, it's different. Next page. Scientists use electron micrographs to see how objects change over time. For example, we can look at a piece of fruit to see how it decays. First, the fruit looks fresh. After a few days, it begins to soften. Then specks of mold appear and cling to it. Days pass and eventually the fruit is covered in mold. We can see these changes under the microscope for far earlier than we can see them with just our eyes. Suppose you mingle outside on a humid day with friends. What would the sweat on your skin look like magnified? The possibilities are endless if you examine your world up close. So the caption up there says, when the mold on a strawberry is looked at under an electron microscope, it resembles grapes. So those purple little dots are actually mold. We don't really see until a few days after. Now, the question at the bottom where it says make connections, how do electron microscopes help scientists? And what objects in your classroom or home would you like to see under a microscope? So I put those questions on skies for you today. That's your writing assignment. You can rewatch the video, practice your vocabulary words, and just answer the question. That's pretty much it for today. Remember, if you have any questions, you can email me or message me on Skies or Google Classroom. Thank you guys. Have a good day.